The Arc Raiders China beta launches in just under a week on June 24th, and hopefully I'll be able to get access to it and play it and show you all of the cool features in it, because there's a lot different in this game, a lot of awesome quality of life changes, more content compared to the normal version. Honestly, there's just so much more going on. I'm going to kind of go through everything that I found today. I've scoured the internet to find exactly what is happening in Chinese Arc Raiders. This is an exclusive version to the Chinese region. It's got a different development team working on it, so the content pace is going to be a lot different. The content decisions they make will be different. But it gives us a bit of an idea of what kind of things may come eventually to the main version. And it's pretty exciting. First, how about loadouts? Yeah, we've all been asking for it, and the Chinese version already has it. You can set up 3 different loadouts, and so long as you have all of the resources to build that out, once you set the loadout out, you just click a button and it's instantly made and you're ready to go into the raid. It's that quick, that efficient. Really, really awesome. I hope they add this to the main version of the game. I mean, it's right here in the flesh in the Chinese version, ready to go when it launches June 24th, which is crazy. I'll show all of the different game modes. There's 4 new game modes already in the Chinese version that we'll talk about. But first, let's look at all of the augments. Yeah, there's a bunch more augments in the game. I couldn't figure out what all of them do because there was no footage of the descriptions of all of them, but we got a couple. Managed to get a glimpse of this one, the Combat Mark III support type augment. It can have light and medium shields, and basically your shields will slowly regenerate after leaving combat. We've got the same with health regenerating, but shields slowly regenerating, slightly different. It's got 18 main slots, 4 quick uses, 2 grenades, and 2 safe pocket slots. So this is kind of more like a PvP oriented augment. And then we've got one that might actually take me away from using the survivor augment from times. Look at this little beast here. It's the mobile augment. Now, obviously, this is translated from Chinese, so the translation might not be perfect, but essentially, it's a self-replenishing syringe, or adrenaline shot rather, built into this thing. So you know how some of the others have like a regenerating shield recharger or a regenerating defib? This one has a regenerating adrenaline shot, which is huge. I spend so much plastic and chemicals on adrenaline shots. It's ridiculous. This one could really save me a lot of resources. It's cool to see, and they could easily add this to the main game. It really wouldn't be that hard, so hopefully they do in the future. Now, before we go into all of the different map conditions that they've added to this version, I want to go over some of the cool items that they've already worked on that will be coming at launch for the Chinese beta, stuff that isn't in the main game. All of these items are available in the workbench, and interestingly, they've changed the workbenches to be leveled up to level 5. So the max level is level 5, and it unlocks different items as you level through that. Starting with the taser. I mean, this is kind of a cool item if you want to be the kind of person that doesn't want to kill other players, but you want a way to sort of subdue them or stop them from attacking you. It's literally a taser gun. It's a close range, reusable showstopper grenade, essentially. You can zap them, they'll be tased, they can't do anything, they can't react. So that's a pretty cool way of potentially dealing with a player that you don't want to kill. For example, let's say you sneak up on a player, you might be able to tase them and do that to kind of make sure that they don't shoot you back. I'm sure there's going to be some fun role-playing moments with this item. We've also got the Trailblazer recolored as a healing grenade. So you throw it and it leaves a trailblaze of healing dust that heals you. From the test, it seemed like it wasn't that good. They basically just reworked the Trailblazer and gave it a new paint of color. We've got the corrosive grenade as well, which is basically the normal sticky grenade, but it does corrosive damage. And apparently this is going to be really good at dealing with arc armor or destroying arc armor. So it's a sticky arc penetration grenade, which is pretty cool. They also had military binoculars that when zoomed in, you could ping enemies and it would sort of highlight and tag those enemies for you and your team for a short time, even through walls. And then perhaps the coolest thing is the quick mag. So there were quick mag variants of light, medium, and shotgun, and essentially this would give you more ammo capacity, but give you a faster reload time. It was kind of like a different option to just doing a standard mag upgrade, and I think I would rather have this on a few different weapons. It's pretty cheap to craft as well. They had EMP grenades. Once again, it was just a rework perk of the impact grenade. It would deal damage directly to players' shields. They also had a legendary healing item. It was a deployable that would heal any players that were in its radius, which was definitely one of the more unique and useful items. They had a boombox, and it was basically another instrument. You could play it, and it would play tunes out of the boombox. Pretty cool. There was a tagging grenade tripwire version, which probably no one's going to use. And they also had a tripwire barricade. If you walked over it, the barricade would pop up. It'll be interesting to see how that could be used in gameplay. Pretty unique. There were a few other changes that made it clear that the devs wanted to offer more loot and more rewards at a faster pace than the main version of the game. Now, that might just be a beta testing thing. It could change on the full release, but there was a raider deck, for example, that dropped a bunch of things like blueprints and extra rewards as you leveled up. Oh, and you'd also get even more rewards just for leveling up your raider character. So every time you leveled up, not only would you get a new skill point, you'd get some kind of extra bundle of rewards too. In a couple of interviews that the Tencent dev team did about Arc Raiders Chinese version, they talked about a few different things as well. They're going to have a gear-based PvP, PvE matchmaking system. So they're going to use a similar aggression-based matchmaking to the main game, but there'll be a bit of a difference. They're going to look at what gear you have to determine what other kind of players you're going to ready up with. And it's not based on your gear value, but your gear potential. So, for example, if you go into a raid with an equalizer and a bunch of deadlines, you're more likely to match up with other players who are probably going into that raid to go and kill Ark, right? Now, if you go in with a Bobcat 4 with a kinetic converter, you're more likely to get matched up with similar players with similar loadouts who are probably going into PvP. If you go into a loadout with nothing but an empty loadout because you want to go and do a loot run, you'll also probably get more matched with those players as well. So there's a gear-based matchmaking component that they're testing alongside the aggression matchmaking, because they do understand that there's two different playstyles. There's PvP and PvE. And not only is there two different playstyles, a single player can swap between those playstyles at will. And by giving players the choice to choose what they gear up with, their hope is that will help them get into the lobbies that they want to. It's a test, and we'll see if it's successful in the beta. Oh, the Arc Raiders Chinese version also has weapon skins, but they still want to stick to the main Arc Raiders theme, like they don't want to go completely all out with crazy collaborations or anything. In the interview, they made it very clear they want to stick to that vibe, which is pretty cool. I would love to see weapon skins that still fit the theme of Arc Raiders in the main game. Okay, now let's talk about the 4 new game modes in this version of Arc Raiders. I've got some footage. Credit to the creators that posted this. There'll be links in the description if you want to watch the full videos. Definitely check them out. These creators went to an offline Arc Raiders event to capture this stuff. We'll start with Security Agreement. I think this one's going to be the most interesting for a lot of players. It's kind of like a PvE mode, but it's not. Essentially, at the start of the game, everyone is not able to hurt each other. If you shoot another player, it doesn't do any damage whatsoever. You cannot hurt other players. Now, you can choose to turn on a little light on your backpack. This light will turn on, it will glow red. Every other player will see you've got that red light on. Now, if you turn that on, you can now shoot any player freely, but any other player can shoot you as well. So you can choose to sort of take on this PvP role if you want to try and get some gear in these lobbies, but you might have a whole horde of PvE players ganging up to take you down. It's essentially a safer way for players to get into Arc Raiders, do the PvE elements that they want to do with less risk, right? No one's going to shoot you in the back unless they have that red light on first. They literally cannot do any damage to you. So it's an interesting experiment, and I'd love to hear what you think about this coming to the main game. The next thing we've got is the translation is 2 kings are coming, which is interesting. Maybe that's a bit wrong because the Matriarch and Queen are both queens in a sense, but it's basically the Queen and the Matriarch thrown into the map at the same time, and they're both guarding the Harvester. Now, the loot in the Harvester should increase in value, and I'm sure this is going to be absolute carnage, but in these really high-end late-game PvE lobbies, I think people wouldn't struggle too hard with this one, to be honest. We can take down the Queen and Matriarch within like a minute at this point, so yeah, this could be fun. The next thing is the whole city is on alert. Essentially, this is a mode where there's groups of upgraded snitches flying through the sky, and they are being guarded by waves of rocketeers, essentially. These special armored snitches will fly through the sky, and if you shoot them, you'll get the attention of all of the other flying Ark in the vicinity. The prize to all this is the loot of the Ark you destroy should be increased in this game mode. It seems like a pretty challenging one considering how many Rocketeers are in the area. And then we have it's basically just a recolored probe event. Now, these probes are better, and it's really interesting to see the Tencent devs sort of look on how they want to deal with the economy, because in normal events, you'll go and do something, for example, like the launch tower loot event, and you'll get like an Arpeggio 2 or something, right? Maybe if you're lucky, a Tempest. In this, you can clearly see that they've really upped the value. You break one of these open, you're getting a blueprint, a hull cracker 4, a bunch of attachments, some actual decent loot that's worth doing the event for. Like, it actually feels like a decent end game event that's worth spending your time in. A lot of the events in the main game of Ark Raiders just feel a little bit of a waste of time in some cases, because the reward you get out of the time you put in is basically not worth it. So this is cool to see, and I hope similar things would come to the main game. So those are the 4 main game modes in the Chinese version of Ark Raiders, and a look at what the game will feature. There's a whole lengthy interview and more details coming out each and every day. So if you want to see more info about this, do let me know, and let me know what you think. I'll see you in the comments. Cheerio.